Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, it's going to be a brief video, but I looked into something over the last couple days, and this is the first time I've really looked at this all as one thing. And so that's what I want to talk about in this video. So this is not the ICP USD chart. This is ICP dominance. And I think they have these charts built out for most of the blue chips. But, for the most part, ICP's dominance or lack thereof up until this point hasn't even been worth checking out. But in hindsight, I do think it was probably worth looking at this as well because an asset, so just like with Bitcoin dominance, it's just measuring its, valuation relative to the entire market. I think relative valuations are just as important to pay attention to in crypto, not necessarily to be swing trading here, there, and everywhere, but more or less to see when a certain asset is about to start outperforming other assets. Because in a bull market, when everything's going up, or just in a general sense within a market cycle, when everything is kind of doing the same thing, whether that's trending up or trending down, I think it's worthwhile to know where the assets you're holding are as it relates to their relative value versus other assets. Okay. So the point that I'm trying to get to, guys, is this might be the most bullish chart I've ever seen ever. Okay. Because right now it's like 0.28. I think it was like 0.26 yesterday, 0.27. But this is the highest that we've been. This is the monthly. This is the most bullish chart I've ever seen. This is the monthly for ICP dominance. The monthly RSI just screaming upwards. This is the highest we've been in 2 years. Okay. And there's a reason why I'm showing this. All right. So this is the weekly. This is where we stand right now. And then this is the monthly. All right. So we're sitting at 0.28 right now. And why am I showing this? The reason I'm showing this, guys, is because I think that it's pretty very possible, I'll put it that way, that this is the forever bottom for this metric. And it's just very difficult for me to see. I mean, maybe it sets a lower low, in a couple months where there's a big flash crash in the market and, the prices kind of get distorted. But once this officially bottoms, which it may have already bottomed right here, all right, once this officially bottoms, and if you just look at the relative strength on the weekly or the monthly, it looks like it's bottomed. But once that happens, as far as ICP dominance, guys, it's only going to go up, right? And again, so it's easy to lose sight of that in a market where everything is going up, right? But it looks like ICP dominance has forever bottomed, which is extremely bullish. Maybe the most bullish thing ever. Because another point too, I wasn't looking at crypto and saying this is what I think. Well, to some degree I was, but yes, I did think the other investments that I have, I do believe that they will increase in price. And that's all well and good. But it's really for me about looking at what's going to increase the most over the long term, over the next 5 to 10 years, which technology, which asset or assets are positioned to outperform more so than anything else. And I just can't see anything other than ICP at this point. Again, I think a lot of these other layer ones are going to do very well. I think a lot of my other investments are going to do very well. Some of them already are doing very well, but I think this is likely the forever bottom for ICP dominance. And the 0.28% of the entire crypto market cap, that it will probably only go up from here, which is one of the more bullish things. And one of the more bullish things imaginable. There's more though. Okay, there's more. All right, so this is the weekly. This is the monthly. This was the ICP Solana chart that I showed like a week or so ago when we had the initial move. And just real quick, I'm not trying to dog on Solana or anything like that. I mean, for the most part, guys, I really stayed out of that. And really out of any, comparing ICP to anything else, I mean, the entire time that I've been on here for the most part, I got to the point where I was just kind of just joking around. But I hope all the best for the Solana crowd. And guys, at the end of the day, too, it's like all of this is really going to come together as one thing. And at some point in time, there's not going to be nearly as much tribalism in the crypto space. Like once things become a little bit more clear, and once everybody is not, kind of vigorously defending their own favorite thing, because they see the bigger picture and they see how this is all going to come together and how it's all just going to be one thing. Once we get to that point, there's not going to be all of this tribalism. I understand just because of the environment, the way crypto was set up, the way the content creators do such a atrocious job, and the way they withhold certain information. They're very selective about what they decide to tell retail, and the way that they portray crypto. Because of all of these things, and just because a lot of people don't do a thorough job with their own research, it just leads to a lot of, people getting very defensive and kind of like lashing out at other communities and things of that nature. I try to avoid doing that as much as possible. But at the same time, and this is kind of turning into like a whole spiel now, but I'm just going to go ahead and, run with it. But at the same time, like I understand the other perspective. Like if there are people like content creators and other communities that are saying things that would suggest that they're, doing what ICP, exactly what ICP is doing, or that they can do XYZ better, that they, as a technical matter of fact, can't do it all. Like when stuff like that is being said, yes, I understand why people either in my position or somebody else in the ICP space would say something. Because at the end of the day, while we might know personally that what this person's saying, that they're full of shit, while we might know that, a lot of newer people in the ICP space might not. And if you really don't understand the true differentiators with ICP, you don't see the big picture with ICP. And when people in other communities are painting their tech like they can do what ICP can do, it makes it seem like there aren't so many differentiators when there really are. Okay, so I understand both sides of the conversation. So I didn't mean to go on a whole spiel about that, but okay. So the main takeaway here, guys. Okay, and it gets better after this. Okay, it gets better. I really can't overstate how bullish I am. But I mean, again, I will say, even though with the way the market looks right now, just always be ready for a further pullback with the broader market. Okay. Things do look very bullish right now, just big picture. I mean, I'll show that too with total three. I mean, this is total three, guys. Things do look bullish, but again, they could always kind of have a pause, flash crash, broader pullback with the market just to liquidate tons of leverage. So just understand that's always a possibility at any point in time. However, this is the ICP Solana chart. We showed this, or I showed this about a week or so ago. So we got rejected. We came down here. But the reason I'm showing this, guys, is because look at where ICP is as far as ICP dominance. All right, coming off of the floor. And weekly RSI has been in like a year or two long uptrend. Monthly RSI looks like this. We're at the highest point that we've been in 2 years, and we were criminally undervalued relative to the rest of the crypto market, only like a quarter of 1% of the entire crypto market. So you have that. And then you have what looks like ICP getting close, close. Okay, I'm not saying that the ICP Solana bottom is in, but it looks like it's getting close to being it. All right. And whenever this officially bottoms, that might be the permanent bottom for ICP Solana. Now, I mentioned about a month or so ago on I think it was my main channel, might have been on my backup channel. I think I've said this a couple times, that at some point between now and 2030, I see many prominent layer ones, blue chip layer ones, hitting their max valuation versus ICP sometime between now and 2030. However, and again, I think this is just, I'm just giving my opinion. This is not financial advice. Nothing's ever a sure thing. Do your own research. But I think it's very possible and maybe even likely that the layer ones that are significantly overvalued relative to ICP, that they might hit their max valuation versus ICP this cycle and like relatively soon. I just don't see why. Maybe in the future there's one more, drop down, in a time of high volatility. But at some point in time, guys, these layer ones that in all reality, in my opinion, had no business being valued that much higher than ICP, at some point, probably in the next either the next year or the next few years, they're going to hit their max valuation versus ICP. And then from there on out, forever, they're going to be in a forever downtrend versus ICP. Assuming all this plays out the way that we expect it to play out and ICP goes on to be what we expect it to become. But if ICP goes on to be what we expect it to become, guys, a lot of these layer ones are going to hit their max valuation versus ICP in the foreseeable future, like the next few years. And if it lasts until 2030, it lasts until 2030, but I don't think it will last any longer than that. And I doubt it lasts that long, especially for the ones that have been just insanely overvalued relative to ICP. All right, so that's ICP dominance weekly, monthly. That's ICP versus Sol. Yes, we could set a lower low, but pay attention to this because this is Solana dominance. All right. Now, this might look like the most bullish chart of all time to you. I'm just saying that Solana paused right there. And this is why I think it might be worthwhile to start paying attention to the different dominance charts, not just because it might give you an idea of where that asset is within its own cycle and within the broader cycle in the broader market, because Solana paused right here. Now, it very well may just go rip right above that over the next 6 to 12 months. I'm just saying that this was right where it paused. And it also got right back up to its max Ethereum valuation, like the Solana Ethereum chart. It kind of looks similar in that it went up and hit that same peak area. So Solana might pause out here for a little while. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't care. Hope the best for Solana. I think it's going to do well. Nothing bad to say. Just important to know where this is. All right. Because Solana is really at its like all-time high valuation as far as dominance, right? ICP's been in a forever downtrend. This is what I mean, so you just have to look at it where, something is getting closer to being overextended on certain metrics and something has barely even gotten started. That was the Solana dominance chart, okay, on the monthly, and it's sitting right here. So, and this is total 3, which is probably the most bullish chart ever outside of ICP dominance. But this is total 3 on the weekly. And I mean, guys, yeah, anything could happen, but you know, I mean, this is where we are, guys. Okay, this is where we are, and yeah. That's all I have, guys. That's it. I just want to go over all these different metrics. I would just, keep an eye on these. But I had never really looked into ICP dominance before. And so then I started playing around with Solana dominance, right? And then I wanted to go back and look at, ICP Solana. But guys, the main takeaway here is this is where ICP dominance is. And I do think that many of these other layer ones are going to hit their max valuation versus ICP at some point in the next few years. And I think all of them will by 2030. And just all I'm saying by that is that at some point when this bottoms, that's it. It's bottomed permanently, solely on a relative valuation to another asset. Important to note, every asset is either increasing in value or decreasing in value versus other assets at any point in time. And so it's kind of like a mindset shift when you're looking at relative value comparisons like this, as opposed to comparisons versus USD, just like the USD price, the actual price. So guys, that's all I have for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Take care. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Take care. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.